Hi everyone. It's been a while since I made a video. Um, I don't really go live like that, but decided to go live today. I was gonna try to work on a video about Madeline Soto, but I might still do it, but it's so much coverage of it right now. So yeah, as I was saying, I wanted to make a video about Madeline Soto, and I just haven't gotten a chance to do it yet. So sorry about the interruptions. I'm a mom, so I was just talking to my son. So yeah, I wanted to do a video about Madeline Soto. Um, you know, if you don't already know, if you've been, not really watching the news, it's really hard to miss. Madeline Soto, she was 13 years old, and it appears to be that she was murdered by her mother's ex-boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. They haven't charged him, I don't think, yet with murder yet. He is, in custody. I think the charges that's on him right now is the child pornography stuff. Like, I feel like he had images. Hopefully I can say this word on YouTube. I believe that they found images of him abusing Madeline Soto on his cell phone. And I think there were also images of other minor children. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments. But yeah, I, usually try to do videos about survivors because I feel like it's so inspiration. There's so much negative news in the world about who's, not, who's dead, who's alive, who's hurt. And so I try to focus on survivor stories. But I have been so drawn to the Madeline Soto story. So let me try to give you a little bit of history to it. You can easily Google it or easily look on YouTube. But Madeline Soto was only 13 years old when her mother's ex-boyfriend appears to have murdered her because it looks like he was trying to, abuse her once again. And I'm only assuming that she woke up or she tried to fight him off. Hi, Webz. Thanks for joining the live. So it looks like he murdered her. Either maybe he overdosed her on some sleep medicine or she tried to fight him off. She woke up because it looks like a lot of the abuse that Stephen Stearns was doing to Madeline Soto was when she was sleeping. So that was my son. So yeah, so she was only 13 and her mother allowed her boyfriend to groom her basically for like 5 years. I think they met when Madeline Soto was only 8 years old. And so Jennifer Soto is the mother. She was allowing Stephen Stearns to sleep in the same bed with her and her daughter. I mean, can you even comprehend that? A single mother, it looks like she was married in the past, allowed her boyfriend to sleep in the same bed as her and her daughter. So it would be three of them in the bed at one time. And it was at times that it was just Madeline, the daughter, and Stephen Stearns, the boyfriend, in the bed sleeping. Like it was another day. Jennifer allowed it because it looks like she was overwhelmed with life. It looked like she was overwhelmed with being a parent. It appears that she has some mental health issues because of all the coverage I've heard about her. She was talking about, I need my meds. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I need this. I need that. From what I've heard, she has bipolar disorder, but I feel like Jennifer has gotten a lot of pass. Not a lot. She has gotten a little bit of pass because people feel as if that, because she has a mental health issue, that it excuses her for certain things. But for the most part, people are really fed up with Jennifer Soto because people are outraged, especially women like me as a mom, as a single mother. I can't imagine allowing a complete stranger or a boyfriend, whatever, someone that's not my child's parent to sleep in the same bed as my child. That's just simple child neglect. Right now, Stephen Stearns is the only person that is in prison, right, or he's in jail. But people are wondering, when will Jennifer Soto be arrested? She may not have, assisted with the death of Madeline, but she basically contributed to it. She allowed a monster in her home. She did not basically do any background on him. She ignored all the red flags. I'm not going to blame her completely because the predator, the abuser who did what he did, he's the wrong person. But as a mother, you have to protect your child. All right, guys, I'm going to let my son show his Yoshi really quickly. He wants to be silly while I'm trying to make this serious video. All right. There he goes. All right, so yeah, even though Jennifer did not actually probably, do the final blow to Madeline to make her not be here anymore, to make her not be alive anymore. But because she allowed a predator in her home, she basically assisted. And if you watch all the news coverage of this case, you will see where it appears that Jennifer was just going along with whatever Stefan told her. So I feel like I'm missing a lot by not telling y'all the right thing. That's why it's better for you guys to like look up the story on YouTube. But basically, Madeline had just turned 13 years old in late February of this year. And so it's just a sad story, y'all. The mother didn't even go to the birthday party. Jennifer didn't go to the birthday party because allegedly she had a new job and she couldn't miss any days. I mean, I can't comprehend missing the birthday party. I can't comprehend that. Hello. So yeah, she missed the birthday party, and I guess she was on her way home on Sunday, and she told Stefan, the ex-boyfriend, to come by the home and help her with Madeline for the next day. I mean, they were treating Madeline like she was 3 years old. They were treating her like she didn't know how to do basic, simple things. I don't know why she needed Stefan to get her 13-year-old daughter ready for bed. Jennifer Soto needs to understand how every action she took in this case makes no sense. Why were you that comfortable with your boyfriend doing all the child rearing things with you? It doesn't make any sense. She relied too heavily on him. And because Stefan is a groomer, I'm not reading a book, Wolf J Men, or Waj X Men. I'm talking about the Madeline Soto case. It's all over YouTube, everywhere you can Google it. It's about a 13-year-old girl who was murdered by her mother's ex-boyfriend. So Jennifer Soto is the mother. She basically allowed Stefan to just help her as if he was the husband. Like he was the husband and he was actually the biological father of Madeline. He was basically like their emotional support dog, and he abused the situation. He truly did. He preyed on their vulnerability. He preyed on the fact that she's a single mother. There are sexual predators out there who prey on single mothers, and I feel like Stefan definitely preyed on Jennifer. And unfortunately for Madeline, she's not here anymore because of that. So yeah, Stefan came on Sunday to their home to help Madeline get ready for bed and to get her on the bus the next day for school, right? Jennifer was so tired and stressed and needed so much sleep that she sent Stefan and her daughter Madeline up to the bedroom to sleep together in the same bed while Jennifer was downstairs, I believe, okay? Like, just repeating the story sounds so sick to even repeat what's going on here. So yeah, she sent them up like, oh, I'm so tired. And I guess she was taking some not pain medicine, sleep medicine. Like, it seemed like she was addicted to pain medicine. Not pain medicine, to sleep medicine. So she sent Stefan and her innocent 13-year-old daughter to sleep in the same bed. So we don't know what happened, but it seems like between the hours of who knows, 11:30 p.m. and, maybe 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning. It looks like that's when Stephen Stearns took the life of Madeline Soto. It was ruled that her death was caused by strangulation. Um, we're not sure how he strangled her yet. I saw a couple of speculations that he may have took his penis, his that part of his body, and gagged her with it. And I have also heard that he just like used his hands or used maybe the dog leash. I don't know the definite reason how he strangled her, but it was through strangulation. That's definitely true. You can look up the autopsy and stuff like that, and you'll know what happened. But yeah, so Stefan was in a bed with her, and we can only assume that he was trying to abuse Madeline again. We can only assume that Stefan was trying to sexually abuse Madeline again. And so either she woke up while he was doing it, and she probably freaked out or said, I'm going to tell on you, or whatever the situation is. Something caused him to take her life. And I feel that she was about to wake up and tell on him. She probably was just really fed up because she was doing well when he was away. He had moved out of their home back in December of 2023. So he would come by once in a while after the breakup to spend time with them or whatever. And it's mixed about the reason why they broke up. Jennifer claims that they broke up because he was too messy. But then I also saw her say that they broke up because he found a job somewhere in the area by his parents. So he left to go live with his parents, and to see that his parents will hire him for the business or whatever. But it looks like the business didn't work out. And so Jennifer was claiming that they're going to try to get him to move back with them, back with her and Madeline. And Stefan said he moved because his parents needed help in preparing for end of life stuff and stuff like that. So it's just mixed on why he really moved out. Some can assume that, Jennifer found out something and then she kicked him out, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's a reason why she would kick him out, because if she found out that he was abusing her daughter, why would you let him come back in? So I don't think he moved out because of the Jennifer assumed anything. It looks like Jennifer was oblivious at sometimes, and sometimes it seemed like Jennifer was completely complacent. Goodbye. WOJ X-Men. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. So yeah, it just looks like Jennifer would be airheady, ditzy at sometimes, and the other times she looks like she was like an accomplice. So yeah, anyway, so on Monday, the 26th of February of 2024, it looks like Stefan was supposed to drop off Madeline to school. He claimed he dropped her off in the parking lot like a half a mile from the school because he claimed that Madeline didn't like his car. She was embarrassed by his hoopty, and she didn't want to, be seen with him. And so she liked to walk and she liked the cold. So he went ahead and dropped her off like it was nothing. Like the way he tried to downplay it was crazy. So yeah, his whole behavior that morning was strange because Madeline doesn't need to be at school, I think, until like maybe 9:20 maybe, or a little bit after 9 a.m. But he left the home with Madeline like at 8, 7 something in the morning. So it was just a lot of suspicious behavior on his part. So yeah, Stefan claimed that he dropped off Madeline at her school, and Jennifer, and so he went about his day. He said he dropped her off and he left her there, and they went about their day. So then Jennifer, the mother, went to the school at around 4 p.m. to try to pick up Madeline. She realized that Madeline was not coming out, and she just like, oh, what's going on here? So then she drove off, I guess, and then went to her mother's job, which is nearby, a place that sometimes Madeline would go after school if Jennifer wasn't able to pick her up. So Jennifer claims she went to the mother's job, and the mother was like, no, she's not here. Then Jennifer, I guess, went back to the school. The school was closed. Then I guess she emailed the school And the school was like, she was not here today. And Jennifer even texted Madeline's friend and say, hey, have you seen her? They said, no, she was not at school. So Jennifer was just oblivious the entire day. And let's really talk about how Jennifer really never mentioned how, oh, well, I didn't see her, so I called her phone or I text her. You know what I'm saying? Why is this weird how the phone is not mentioned? So basically when so that's what happened. So Jennifer couldn't find her. So as they're investigating, well, Jennifer later that night reported her daughter missing. So she was trying to file a missing persons report. The police came to her mother's job and took the report. You'll see all the videos online about this. They took the report, and it just looked like Jennifer at some points was right along with Stefan, defending him and even supporting him with information about the situation. Jennifer claimed that she was there at one point, that she also dropped off Madeline with Stefan. Then she was like, oh, no, he dropped her off. It wasn't me. So yeah, Jennifer reported her daughter missing, and when Stefan was trying to tell them what Madeline was wearing, Jennifer at one point was like, no, she was wearing, black shorts, or one of the items a bottom was on the one of the items a bottom. Jennifer said, I believe Jennifer said black or blue shorts, and Stefan said no, it were pants or something like that. Either way, they differed in what they said she was wearing. And it was almost like Jennifer was trying to insist that she knew what she was wearing. Why are you insisting so much when you weren't even there, allegedly? So that's just suspicious behavior. That's suspicious behavior because Jennifer was acting like she was there. She was so tired and sleepy that she let Stefan take over the whole routine. But at the same time, she's trying to act like she was there when she wasn't there. So, they reported her missing, and as they're investigating the situation, they found explicit, inappropriate child abuse images on Stefan's phone, and that's when their suspicions were raised.
Hey, do you want some barbecue chips? Okay, I'm just kidding.
That's my son. So yeah, they found images on his phone, but before they even found the images, he was trying to act like this very distraught father, like, oh my goodness, I'm so sad. I don't know what could have happened to her. I dropped her off. I'm blaming myself. So before people knew that he was the predator that he is and the abuser that he is, he was really trying to play this like, sad stepdad when he was her abuser and perpetrator and killer the entire time. Like, this dude really was trying to win an Oscar because he was really having fake tears in his eyes. It was almost convincing, Stefan, almost convincing, but none of his story made sense. So yeah, they found the images on his phone, so they arrested him for that. And so it just put two and two together. It was like, well, we found these images of you being inappropriate, abusing Madeline on your phone, so she's also missing. Now it started to make sense that he was the person who took her life. So like I said, they have not been able to prove him definitely to be the killer, but all the evidence that they have gathered so far, they found Madeline's backpack in the dumpster. He had poured paint or whatever got on the bag, so it was just, he tried to destroy evidence. So I didn't mention this yet, but they found Madeline's body in a area miles and miles away from she lived, like in a very deserted kind of rural area. He dropped her body off like behind some bush or something like that. And I believe some people were walking around and they noticed it, and they noticed it. No, what happened is they were asking people in the neighborhood, have you seen this person? Have you seen anything suspicious? And I believe someone said, you know what? I did see a man out here with a flat tire. And so because with that clue, they were able to pinpoint where the body was, and they found Madeline deserted. I think they found her face down. She was like partially decomposed and stuff like that. So this man savagely took her life and just left her out there like it was nothing. The man that claimed he loved her so much, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I always say, like, love is not words. It is action. You can't say you love somebody, you care about somebody, and you would do something like that. He was a sick man. So yeah, he is in prison right now, and he so far is still claiming to be so innocent, but we know he's not. We know he's a scumbag. We know he's a predator, and he did what he did. But I'm more disgusted at Jennifer Soto, because as a mother, your number one job is to protect your child. Madeline had to survive about 5 years of her life. We don't know if he started abusing her right away or he took time to truly groom her, but he was involved with her life. He was involved in Madeline's life for 5 years. So we can only assume that he may have been doing it since early on, but sometimes predators like to groom you. So it may have taken a few months or a few years. We don't really know how long, but it's been at least 5 years that he was abusing her, I believe, according to the evidence that they had found. It's so much evidence out there. I found this about the story, I believe, originally from Court TV, and then eventually I started seeing posts by Grizzly True Crime. I love her channel. She does a lot of deep dives, and she has been covering the Madeline Soto stuff a lot lately. So if you want to, look up, information about the case, definitely check out Court TV and Grizzly True Crime. I believe her name is Giselle or Giselle. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. Grizel or Griselle. Well, I'm gonna call her Grizzly or G. But I apologize. Her name is really cute, cool, and unique, but I'm mispronouncing it probably. But I think it's Grizel or Griselle. I think it's Griselle. And so I've been really like binge watching her stuff, and I think she's actually live right now. But I'm just not a news person, so I'm not gonna probably report it to you guys really well. I just really want to talk mostly about Jennifer Soto. She's free right now. And so far, the police are saying that they don't have any plans to arrest her. And they're making it seem like there's no crime that she committed. And I understand that you might have scrubbed things and it doesn't look like she was obviously involved, but they need to at least get her for neglect. Like I was saying before, a mother's number one job is to protect your child. If you can't do anything, protect your child. If you can't do it, put them in a safer environment. You know what? Say, hey, I can't do this. I can't afford them, or I just can't physically do anything for my child. Give them up. Like it looks like Jennifer had a supportive mother. Maybe Madeline could have stayed with the mom more, because before Madeline was murdered by Stephen, or allegedly murdered by Stephen Stearns, it does appear like she was, but I don't know if I should say allegedly. But before Madeline was abused by Stephen Stearns to the point that her life, she's no longer here. She was having a good few days, a good time at her mother's house, at her grandmother's house. That is Jennifer Soto's mother. So I don't understand why they just couldn't keep her where she was happy at. I'm not sure why Jennifer insisted on having Stephen back in her life. He didn't. He wasn't really doing anything for them. He wasn't doing anything at all. So it's just that she failed her job. So yes, she may not have, strangled Madeline. She may not have, told Stefan exactly what to do, but you put your daughter in the hands of a predator. A lot of people would say that you put your daughter on a silver platter and gave her to Stefan. It was so many red flags. And I feel like if Jennifer had people in her life who really loved and cared about her, they would have said something. If Jennifer had real friends, they would have said, girl, why you got your daughter sleeping in the bed with your boyfriend? Like, that's weird behavior. I straight up would have reported that. I would have reported that. Because she's a growing girl. She's a preteen girl or boy. A child should not be in the same bed with someone that's not their dad. It doesn't make any kind of sense. And at a certain age, you shouldn't even be in your bed with your own dad unless you are comfortable with it, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of things that can go with that. But I would rather a child be sleeping in the bed with their father, their biological father, than with their mother's boyfriend. And so we haven't heard much from Jennifer. I mean, we haven't heard much from Madeline's biological father. I believe he lives in Texas, and she would only see him once in a while. And you see what happens when dads are not fully involved in their child's life. Stuff like this happen. I feel like if her dad was more involved with her life, more visitations, she would have been more keen to tell her that, like, hey, dad, he's been doing these things to me. Stefan's been doing this to me, and I'm feeling uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. And just Jennifer didn't allow, I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna blame nobody. I don't know why Madeline Soto's dad was not involved in her life. I'm not even gonna blame Jennifer, because as a father, if you want to be with your child, you got to go to court, you got to make the steps. You have to do what you have to do. And so because Madeline's dad was not really in her life, it made it easy for Stefan to come and take over and take on that father role and to groom her and to manipulate her. Both of them were manipulated, obviously, but Madeline is the innocent person. Jennifer is a grown adult. She has more information, more knowledge, more resources that she could have gotten help even if she was being manipulated or abused by Stefan, because you have a duty to protect your child, your daughter. She only had one child, and now her only child is not here anymore, and she honestly cannot blame anybody but herself. She gave her daughter to Stefan. Okay. Stefan preyed on a single mother with appears to be mental health issues. She's always seemed like to be heavily medicated. She says she needs all this sleep, and she really was only working part-time. I believe because of her disability, anxiety, or whatever else she had going on with her, she had to be medicated a lot and she couldn't work too much. But the way she was like giving Madeline away to Stefan, you would think that she was working full-time nurse, 12 hours a day. It didn't make any sense. And Stefan didn't have a job as far as I know. I don't know how he made his money, but he looked like he was unemployed. I mean, to the point where Madeline even complained about him to her school counselors. I think they asked her about him and she's like, oh, I don't know. I don't really like him. He's weird. He just sits in our living room and just eats our food. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, no one picked up on that. They didn't pick up on the uncomfortableness. They didn't pick up on I'm saying that word wrong. They did not pick up on the fact that Madeline was uncomfortable. Maybe she made it seem like it was lighthearted situation, but Madeline was going through a lot of physical issues. She was had a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and it's like no one was picking up on it. People would ask questions, I think, at school maybe, but no one was following up like, hey, this girl is having a lot of panic attacks. She's nervous. She's jumpy. She's not getting enough sleep. Her mom's boyfriend is there. No one put two and two together. And I know it's hard to keep track of children. I understand that the system is overpopulated or whatever, but the school or someone else should have picked up on the fact that Stefan was a true groomer. He had way too much access to Madeline. He really shouldn't have had any access. I just can't have any respect for Jennifer because she failed her daughter. When you guys look up a picture, I'm going to try to maybe leave the thumbnail a picture of Madeline. But if you guys look up the Madeline Soto case, you will see she was a beautiful young lady. I mean, she just turned 13 years old. She just turned 13 years old. Like, she would have been, it's been 6 months, I believe, now since she's gone. And she would have been getting close to be 14 next year, but she's not here anymore because her mother was, I don't know if she was just thirsty or desperate for a man. And she allowed a predator into her bed. And the crazy thing about it is that Jennifer even meant when they interviewed her, she mentioned that her and Stefan weren't really having sex. Like their sex life was very poor. And I believe that Stefan wanted to try sexual things in bed with Matt. It appears that Stefan, according to Jennifer, wanted to do sexual things in bed that Jennifer was not okay with. According to Jennifer, Stefan wanted to do anal sex, and Jennifer did not want to do anal sex. So I'm trying to think, was he doing those things, all the things that Jennifer didn't want to do? Was he doing that with Madeline? And Jennifer, like, really think about this girl. If your boyfriend is sexually frustrated or whatever, y'all not really having sex. You're not doing certain tricks in the bed with him. Why would you be okay with him still sleeping in the bed with your daughter, who's a teenager or preteen at the time? Why would you trust a horny man? He was a freak, a sexual deviance, so to speak. He wasn't monogamous with you. I've heard a story of him cheating or finding another girlfriend at the time, or another woman at the time while he was with Jennifer. That's just stuff that I don't really care about anyway. The point is this man sexually abused and murdered an innocent, beautiful girl named Madeline Soto. And Stefan is fully 100% guilty, and he should be in prison for life. Okay? He is completely wrong. He will always be wrong. There's no way to make this story good. But what I do think is that Jennifer, she may not deserve life in prison, but I don't know what needs to happen with her. But I feel like just by being neglectful as a mother, she should have some type of punishment. I don't know how much jail time or prison time it should be, but I know that all of that should include serious mental health therapy, serious, like, just parenting classes, because just in case she ever decides to have children again, she shouldn't be allowed to if she's not like following certain guidelines. And I know people can't monitor people's wombs and stuff like that, but I doubt Jennifer will have any more children. But it's like she needs some educational consequences. She needs some monetary consequences. Like she needs to pay a fine. And I feel like honestly, she needs some time behind bars, maybe a mental health prison. I don't know, or the mental health ward of a prison. But I feel like she needs to lose a little bit of freedom to see what Madeline had to go through. Madeline may have been free, but she was in prison because she was being held captive by Stephen Stearns. He was using her as his sexual toy or whatever he was doing. You know what I'm saying? And from the pictures and what I'm hearing, it doesn't look like Madeline was really awake during a lot of the sexual abuse. And they said they found like hundreds of images of him abusing her, like blatantly abusing. Like there's no way you can get out of that. And he just had it on his phone. By the way, y'all, when they were investigating the case, he, before he had to answer to the police, Stephen Stearns so-called accidentally did a factory reset on his phone, trying to delete evidence and everything like that. But technology and forensic, you know, technology, whatever, they were able to recover all those images. Like, do you really think that you're gonna have all this sexual stuff on your phone and it's just gonna, like, hello, the cloud and everything else? And I'm glad that there's a system that keeps stuff like that. Some people might see it as infringing on privacy, but when it comes to crimes and situations like this, I think it is beneficial to have that kind of technology to recover stuff like that. Because if we didn't have the technology, he would have been able to get away with it, because they would be like, well, he didn't have a motive. He had a motive. He was abusing her and he was trying to silence her. I just feel like Madeline was tired of the abuse. I feel like Madeline was tired of the abuse and she tried to fight back, and Stefan could not bear her telling on him and his secret being out. And the way Stephen could lie, y'all, if you watch the interviews, he just lied the whole time. Oh, so yeah, we got up and we're gonna get McDonald's, so we left early enough, and then she fell asleep half the way, and then we got to McDonald's or close to McDonald's, and he claimed that Madeline didn't want McDonald's anymore before school. What kid is gonna deny McDonald's when they already love McDonald's? He was just lying. I want y'all to take the time to go look up Stephen Stearns, Stephan, and I believe it's Stearns, Sterns, or look up Jennifer Soto. Soto is Soto. Okay, and Madeline is Madeline, Soto, S as in Sam, Oto. Just look up the story, y'all. Look up the police recordings. Look at the body cam footage. Jennifer and Stephen had the most peculiar, weird behaviors. I understand Jennifer has anxiety issues that made her probably react a certain way, but it was also giving off guilt. It was giving off guilt. And it's like, I don't know, she's just so drugged up that she couldn't react. I didn't see any really tears. I seen more worry than I saw like my daughter's missing. It was more like worried that the truth is going to come out. It was more giving worried that I'm going to be labeled a bad mother. It was just looked like she was worried about herself. She didn't seem worried about her daughter. It looked like she was worried about herself. Like everybody's been saying, like, if my daughter was missing, I would have been like losing my mind. How can you relax? How can you be calm? How are you not crying and screaming? They weren't even really looking for her body. I think they were like just making other people go look for her daughter. She just was not frantic like a real mother or just like a regular day mom. I can't talk, regular day mom. But like Jennifer Soto was just not giving off the reaction a mom would give that loves her daughter. Like a mom that loves your child is not going to be all calm when you find out your daughter is missing. I honestly wouldn't mind being a fly on the wall to see what Jennifer is doing right now. It's been 6 months since her daughter, her untimely death. And I don't know how she's living with herself, because if she thought she couldn't handle life before, all on all those meds and sleep aids and stuff like that, how I don't know how she's managing now. She got to be a basket case at this point. She got to be in a corner somewhere rocking back and forth, because she can't just put it all on Stefan. You allow the predator in your home, and now your daughter is not here. So yeah, it just looks like Jennifer had something to do with something, y'all. Like, or she knows more than what she's giving on, because how she tried to kind of like cover up for Stefan a little bit with the story of what Madeline was actually wearing. And I forgot to mention that the day that Madeline was supposed to have went to school and Stefan was supposed to have dropped her off, he claimed that, oh, Madeline left her phone at home. I left my phone at home. We were all just such in a rush that we left our phones at home. How interesting. How magically y'all both leave your phone. He knew exactly what he's doing. And like the police said, it appears that Madeline was not alive when he removed her corpse. He removed her deceased body out of the home and drove her around until he found the perfect spot to dump her body. So from what the police are saying, it appears that Stefan took Madeline's life in that home. Not sure which room. They had like several rooms that they were living in or renting out. It's either room number 4 or the makeshift room, because Jennifer was in her room all by herself in her own world. She was in la la land. She wasn't even paying attention. Like, she just basically, like I said, gave her daughter to Stefan. Stefan, that whole situation with Jennifer, what is a predator's dream? You know how much predators are preying on single mothers or preying on women with children, just hoping that she gets dumb enough or lazy enough to let him have full access to their daughter. He probably was like, yo, how dumb is she? I don't even feel comfortable giving up all my duties as a mom to someone like that. Like, help me out a little bit sometime, but like to be doing the whole nighttime routine every night, where we're to the point where Madeline couldn't sleep without him, where they claimed that Madeline needed to have a body next to her when she go to bed. That's what Stefan said. Stefan claimed that Madeline couldn't sleep without him. So it's like Jennifer just gave Stefan so much power, so much rights to her daughter. And he's acting almost like he owned Madeline. When the police were questioning them about what she was wearing, what she looked like, Stefan knew Madeline's body more than Jennifer. How crazy is that? He was talking about, oh, she has a mole on her face and it's very distinct. You would notice when they asked how much does Madeline weigh. Jennifer said 110 and Stefan said 112, and then Stefan said 110 or 112. Like, and they both blame Madeline for having ADHD, about, oh, she's so forgetful. That's the reason why she left her phone at home. She has ADHD. Then I think later on he was saying, well, I left my phone too. I also have ADHD. Like, the whole, all the interrogation, not interrogation videos, all the interview videos, Stefan and Jennifer just seemed like their stories matched up way too well. Like, it just seemed like they got together and was like, this is what you're going to say, and this is what I'm going to say. It looks like Stefan coached Jennifer, and maybe at some points Jennifer coached Stefan. They just look like they were partnering in crime. It didn't look like if my daughter's missing, me and you can even be cool like that no more, because it's like, I'm going to look at you because you did drive her to school. Jennifer never once suspected Jennifer not once even suspected Stefan. She just had him right there by her side. Like, he's just a worried father. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy how Jennifer never suspected Stefan. And that's why people are raising their eyebrows at her. Why were you so calm in the entire situation? Why you never one time said, oh, I think, because if you were afraid of him doing something to you, retaliating, I would have been like, look, I don't feel comfortable with him. I think he may have done something with my daughter, get a restraining order or just find a way to get away from him. And you could have definitely turned in evidence, Jennifer. If you knew anything about your daughter's abuse, you could have definitely turn him in. But it just looks like you had something to hide. I will never understand Jennifer Soto's behaviors. And those behaviors that she has displayed since her daughter has been gone, it's just very, it's just wrong as a mother. It wasn't giving caring mother worried about her. You know, it just seemed like she was just hoping that Madeline will come back alive just so she won't be in trouble, because she looked like she was just like, man, oh my God, I think I'm in trouble. Like the way she was shaking and rocking and all that stuff, it was very guilty behavior. It wasn't giving worried, concerned mother, like out of my mind, I can't believe this. And you know, most time when a when a child is abused, it's by someone that they know. And for Jennifer not to even think that that would happen is just ridiculous. I don't know what would possess her to just be so comfortable, especially when Stefan wasn't bringing anything to the table. He wasn't paying no bills. He wasn't really truly doing anything as a person. He wasn't making you a better person. He was making you worse. And I feel like he might have been just medicating her, and they all just being medicated. Like they all had medication. And I think that's a lot of how Stefan got away with this. He was busy being, such a predator. He was making sure that Jennifer was high off her meds and giving Madeline meds, and he had meds. They all just were like one big inappropriate sleep, inappropriate behavior. Some people have even suspected that maybe even Jennifer had something to do with the sexual abuse. Was she, did she allegedly do anything with her own daughter? You know what I'm saying? And I believe that one of the emails that Stefan Stern's parents emailed to him while he's in prison, I believe that, I don't know if it's the mother. I believe it's the mother feels like that Stefan is being the fall guy, and he's letting Jennifer get away with it, and saying that, Jennifer is just as guilty as she is. So it just looks like something is more to the story. It's not just what Jennifer is saying. It's not just what Stefan is. Obviously, we know that Stefan's a liar, but the mother, we're supposed to look at her as an innocent bystander, the mother who just loved her child. But based on her behaviors or her lack of behaviors, her daughter's not here anymore, and her story just doesn't make sense. Anything that she tried to explain, and none of it makes sense. It's like she was blaming Madeline the whole time for her own abuse. Like, oh, she's forgetful and she's messy and da 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 da. She has ADHD. Like, I believe between Stefan and Jennifer, they only said like two good things about Madeline. I think they said that she's a good singer or something like that. But it just didn't look like a typical mom who would be like, oh my gosh, my daughter is missing and I just really need you guys' help. And um anything please call. Like it wasn't giving that. It was giving like the reporter had to prompt her to say things like, if my child is missing, you ain't got to tell me nothing, baby. You don't have to say, what do you want to say? I'm going to be screaming and crying. I might not even be on camera because I should be out there looking. I don't even know how she had the patience to sit in front of the camera to ask for the child back. I don't know if she did that to not make it look like she was guilty or anything like that. But just because you talk to the cameras and you talk to the news station doesn't mean that you're innocent. A lot of times people who are the perpetrators, who are the abusers, are first in line to help look for the body or look for the person or to give their side of the story. So just because you were up in the camera doesn't mean that you're innocent. And obviously, we know that now because look at Stefan. He was doing his fake tears about how much he misses Madeline and how he wants her to come back home and how she was so happy. And that's another thing. Jennifer and Stefan, again, another story where they seemed like they were on the same page. They both kept claiming that Madeline was just so happy. She was just so happy. She was not that happy. Her school counselors and stuff like that reported certain things as, like I said, behaviorally, she was not, she was struggling with. She was struggling with a lot of behavioral issues. In addition, it was known that Madeline was mad at her mom for not buying her any gifts for her birthday party or even going to her birthday party. And they would have fights. And I believe that Jennifer even stated that she would say things like, when she turns 18, I'm not even going to want to bother with her anymore. And maybe she needs to go live back with her dad. So Jennifer appears to have admitted, have admitted that she was not, a nice mom to Madeline. So how can you say that Madeline was so happy, so happy, so happy? It's lies. When you try to overcompensate and not keep it real, we know something's going on here. because everybody knows that you and Madeline had fights, or she was mad at you for certain things. And she even claimed, I believe Madeline has said at one point that when she turns 13, she wants to run away in the woods. Maybe that was her message to say, hey, I want to get out of here when I turn 13 because I'm sick of the abuse that Stefan has been giving me. He's been sexually abusing me, and I want to leave at 13. And maybe Madeline truly was ready to just tell on Stefan, and that's why he really took her life. And I'm starting to think that maybe he even came over to finish her off that night. Maybe Madeline had threatened right before that she's going to tell. But, she went to bed with him allegedly willingly, according to Jennifer. And it's crazy because Jennifer had worked all day on Sunday, and Madeline had been with her mother since that Wednesday. So she hadn't seen her daughter for days. Didn't even go to the birthday party, right? The birthday party was on Sunday. She didn't go to the birthday party. She got home. So Jennifer got home at 10:30 p.m. And I guess she spent maybe 30 minutes with Madeline and Stefan before she sent them up to the bedroom. So you ain't see your daughter for how much days, and you only see her for 30 minutes? The whole thing is suspicious. I'm starting to think that Madeline never even saw her mom. It's giving Jennifer didn't see Madeline. It's giving that she just came home. I don't know. I know that they have the evidence out there, but it's real suspicious that you didn't see your daughter in days, and you see for 30 minutes, and then you're like, go to bed, go upstairs. I'm tired. I'm too. And by the way, I'm sorry. By the way, Jennifer didn't have to work on Monday the next day. She claimed to be so tired from the new job and needing sleep and being behind on sleep. All she had to do the next day was to go to a doctor appointment. So you want to get all that sleep for what? You let Stefan do all the child rearing and nighttime and morning routine for what? She didn't even see her daughter leave the home, but she had claimed that she saw her before she left. She wrote it on the police report, and she said it. And then she retracted her statement and said, oh, no, actually, no, Stefan, whatever, saw her. And I'm starting to think that she ain't see her daughter at all. I'm starting to think that Stefan maybe gave her some excuse on why she couldn't see her when he got home. For all we know, I don't know. But, the forensic came out, and they're feeling like the timing was early morning that Monday when he took her life. But it's making me feel like now that Jennifer never even saw her daughter since like Wednesday. And she believed everything that Stefan was saying. But yeah, as Jennifer was going to bed and she had to ran them off, I think around like 11:30 or something like that, she texted Stefan and said, make her go to bed now. While Stefan had Madeline upstairs in the room. And he's like, okay, good night, sweetie, whatever. And then Stefan did his thing, and now Madeline's not here, and I think a large part of the blame has to go to Jennifer, because a predator can't come in unless you let them in. Even if at one point you thought that he was a cool guy, after a while you got to be like, you know what? He's been coming around a little bit too much. He's a little bit too comfortable. He's doing a little bit too much. She gave Stefan just way too much power. And that's the last thing you want to give a predator, is give them power and complete freedom over your child. So that's why I feel like Jennifer needs to go to prison too, to face some type of consequence. Because even though Stefan Stern should be in prison for life, and I believe that he might even have the chance to get the death penalty because it's from Florida. It's a story out of Florida. And I'm sorry if I didn't mention it earlier, but the story is from Kissimmee, Florida. And so I believe the death penalty is on the table. But I feel like Stefan should sit in prison. I feel like he should be in prison for the rest of his life. He needs to pay mentally, emotionally, like he needs to suffer in there. But from what I know, what I've heard, when you're in prison as a sexual predator or child abuser, they are protected. They're like in a special unit. And I honestly, I don't condone violence, but when it comes to sexual predators, I don't care. They need to be out in the regular population. While they terrorize their victims, why should they be protected? I would never, maybe I need to do more research on what really happens, but I've always heard that sexual predators, people don't like them in prison, but also they're protected. So if they do get hurt, it's because another prisoner was able to get to them and abuse them. So I'm hearing mixed things. I'm like, I want to know, what is it? I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that child abusers are protected in prison? Or do you feel like they're, but I just, like I said, I've heard that child abusers are not put in the general population because they are a high target. But then to me, they should let them in a regular population because it would deter the crime. If a predator is probably less likely to, they're going to do their thing regardless, but I feel like it'll be less likely that maybe someone would think before they do something because they know that if I get caught, I'm going to be put in regular population. But clearly sexual predators do not care about the consequences because they still do it. As long as people are allowing them around their children being vulnerable, they're going to happen. Sometimes the parents do their best and things still happen. But Jennifer Soto is a mother and a parent who can't say she did her best. Jennifer Soto cannot say that she protected her child. She can't say that. She cannot say, there's no way she can say that. And I think that when she was being interviewed by the detectives, they were just like, I know they probably like, do you let your daughter sleep in the bed with your boyfriend? And Jennifer made it seem like it was nothing. Oh, she has a hard time sleeping, or we all sleep together. Oh, usually it's just all three of us. But sometimes I'm too tired and I need sleep, so I let them go. Why? I just can't. And I'm starting to think that Stefan is the one who groomed Madeline into not wanting to sleep alone. So he kind of allowed Jennifer to normalize that behavior. Like, oh, we all been sleeping together and she can't sleep without me. So let's all sleep together. And he just slowly started to loosen Jennifer up and allowed her to allow him to let Madeline sleep with him. But like I said, as a mother, you're supposed to protect. So it's like, you got to face some punishment. So if not life in prison, Jennifer Soto, I think you need to be in there for half that time, maybe half the life, maybe a good, I don't know. I can't even say a number, y'all. But I do think Jennifer Soto needs to be punished. It's just not fair what happened to her daughter. Stories like that are so scary. And I've heard situations where people are single moms and how they give their boyfriend so much access to their child and how, oh, I let him do that. He does that. And I've always been uncomfortable with it, but you can't say anything. People get offended when you say like, are you sure? Or should they be doing that? But I feel like more people need to speak up. And if me telling you how I feel about what you're doing with your child with a complete stranger makes you not want to be my friend anymore, then I guess we weren't meant to be friends. Because true friends is going to keep it real with you. Like, girl, this is not okay. You should not have your daughter sleeping in the bed with your boyfriend. But I'm thinking maybe Jennifer didn't tell anyone that she was allowing her to sleep in the bed. Because I'm like, if Jennifer told her own mother that she allowed Stefan to sleep with Madeline, was the mother okay with that? If any adult in Madeline's life knew that Stefan Stearns was sleeping in the bed with her, or he was allowed to, and they didn't do anything or didn't say anything, then that's shady. And everybody should uh-uh. And when they interviewed Jennifer Soto's mother said she didn't like Stefan. She said because he wasn't a provider, he didn't help. And I don't recall Jennifer Soto's mother saying because she didn't like him because he was around her granddaughter too much. So it looks like Jennifer Soto and her mother didn't like Stefan really that much because he wasn't a provider. He was lazy. He wasn't really a truly man. None of them said that he was uncomfortable. None of them said that he was doing too much. So it's like if he was giving them money, they may not even have complained. So if he had a full-time job and he worked, would the abuse been okay? Because why was that y'all only complain about him? Everyone's complaint about Stefan was that he was lazy, he didn't work, he didn't contribute. No one talked about how he was a pervert. No one talked about how he was hanging out way too much. But Madeline Soto did say that. Madeline Soto tried her best to report the abuse to her school. And I guess because she kind of laughed it off, that they didn't take her seriously. But all those behaviors that Madeline was displaying was a red flag. She was having panic attacks, a lot of anxiety, couldn't focus on school, couldn't stay awake. Madeline was failed by her entire community. Anybody who knew or had any signs or inkling that she was being abused, they should be ashamed of themselves and they should be called out. Everyone in Madeline's life who didn't protect her needs to be called out. her dad should feel guilty for sure as a man, because it's like it seemed like he moved on with a new family or something like that. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but as a parent, you need to be in your kids' business, whether they like it or not. What's going on? Or how are you doing? Like, it's just they just allowed so much freedom when it came to Madeline. So much freedom, and freedom for her to be around a predator. A child with no restrictions, no parents, no guidance, and low self-esteem is a predator's dream. And and Jennifer Soto gave her vulnerable, very vulnerable child away to Stephen Stearns. Stephen Stearns is a child sexual abuser, big time. And like it makes you wonder, was Madeline his first victim? Did he have other victims? The way the images they found on him and how he was so casual, the way he lies, it gives that it's just in his DNA, and this is how he's always been, is how he's always going to be. And there's no reforming him. You can't change behaviors like that. You can never let out a person like that. You child abusers like this, predators like this, they're not going to change. Stephen was lying like a rug, y'all. Watch those videos. Look up all the videos on Stephen Stearns. The fake tears. Oh yes, I know. And then when and when he claimed that he dropped off Madeline Soto to school, he talked about how he said, "Okay, I love you too." And like, just going back to the phone, what teenager is gonna leave their phone at home on purpose? And then you left your phone. You didn't say, "Oh, I left my phone." You left your phone. And if y'all had all this time to kill, y'all never noticed there was no phone. Everybody's on their phone nowadays, on TikTok, on you, everything. Everything is phones, text messages, everything. So that's why his story really didn't make any sense, because a teenager is going to have their phone. And then he claimed that he thought she was rummaging through her bag and maybe looking for her phone. But if that really happened, you would have stopped and said, "Hey, you good? You got the phone?" Why would you walk away while she's rummaging through her bag? Stephen Stearns' whole story is just straight BS. BS. And I can't believe he really thought he was going to get away with murder. I can't believe he thought he was going to get away with child sexual abuse. You know, I'm glad they found her body so that she could, she was able to be peacefully put to rest and away from that predator. And Stephen Stearns, like I said, is 100% blame. But I do put half of the blame on Jennifer Soto, because she opened up the door for a predator. She truly did. And it went on for years. It's like she never suspected anything. She never checked his phone. She never questioned anything. And it's like she just couldn't stand her daughter so much that she was like, "Here, take her." Because it seemed like they were always fighting. I think Stephen even said that when they would fight, he would be there to calm down Madeline. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, no mother is perfect. It's hard to be a perfect mother. But the behavior that Jennifer Soto displayed is of a neglectful mother, a mother who didn't care. Because even if you're not a perfect mom, like, oh, you yell sometimes or you have bad days, but to just not watch your daughter with your boyfriend, just give her away to your boyfriend, a sexually active man who is sexually frustrated, who is a sexual deviant, who you're not having sex with. So who you think he's going to have sex with? Jennifer Soto. If Stephen Stearns wasn't having sex with you, who do you think he's going to have sex with? You gave your daughter away to him. It was so many red flags that Jennifer Soto ignored. And the whole story was red flags. It was so many red flags that was evident. It was just uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable living situation. It was an uncomfortable living arrangement. Everything about this story it gives you the creeps. Because you just can't believe that people really live like this. You can't believe that there's moms out there like that. But there's moms right now who let her boyfriend basically be their child's father. And I understand that some women, they're stressed out, overwhelmed, and you want a father figure for your child, but giving your child away to another man like that is not okay. With no guidance, no supervision, you can't do that. I understand wanting a father figure, but you cannot turn a blind eye to abuse. You can't act like there are not predators out there. And it makes you wonder, did Jennifer Soto see that kind of lifestyle growing up with her own mother? Did her mother have different men in the house and they were allowed to be around? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seemed like it was normalized behavior, because it's this all so strange. Just look into the story and you'll see how odd and strange it is. To anybody that really knew Madeline and cared about her and didn't turn a blind eye to abuse, my heart goes with you, because Madeline was a beautiful girl and she should still be here today. She should be getting ready to turn 14 next year. But she's unfortunately not here because of an abuser named Stephen Stearns and his assistant, Jennifer Soto, in my opinion, because he needed some help and she helped. Jennifer Soto helped Stephen Stearns in one way or the other. I can't prove how he did it, but helped with words or help with location, help with something. Like, it's suspicious. Yes, this is all alleged. Again, the police are not planning on charging Jennifer Soto with anything. They don't feel there's any crime at this time. But as a mother, morally, you should be punished and you should pay for allowing that to happen to your daughter. Like I said, no parent is perfect. But you missed way too many red flags, and you just didn't care about your daughter enough. You were too wrapped up in you and yourself and your own world that you didn't like. It's hard being a mom. You got your own thing going on, work, stress, this and that, da, da, da. It's a lot. But like I said, your number one job as a parent is to protect your child. And if you can't do it, you need to ask for help. Clearly, Jennifer Soto was overwhelmed. And instead of getting help, she allowed a predator to help himself to her daughter. That's not the kind of help Madeline needed. And instead of threatening Madeline to have her live with her dad, maybe you should have had Madeline live with her dad. Maybe she would have had a better chance at life if she lived with her dad. But again, the dad is not completely out of this, because as a father, you're supposed to take this. As a father, he could have done better in her life. He was in a completely different state. He clearly wasn't checking up on her daughter. And clearly, he didn't make it where Madeline could live with him enough, where she would be able to have a relationship with him and trust in him, and where it would probably scare off Stephen, or if he suspected Stephen was doing anything, he would have told, he would have got involved. So Madeline Soto's dad did not do his job as a father. He should have been willing to move to Florida or to get custody and have Madeline come live with him in Texas. I don't know what could have been done, but Jennifer's father, I'm sorry, I can't even talk. Madeline's father should feel guilty for the death of his daughter, Madeline Soto. You can't put it all on Jennifer, because clearly she couldn't handle life. She couldn't handle herself. She couldn't handle her daughter. So she gave her daughter away to a predator. And if you would have stepped up, sir, if you would have been more involved, this may not have happened. If you knew Jennifer Soto was like unstable mentally or made poor decisions when it comes to men, maybe you should have told that to the judge. And I'm not saying that would have completely protected Madeline, but you should have tried. You could have done better as a man. So a mother's number one job is to protect your child, and a man's number one job is to protect and provide for their child. You know what I'm saying? Mothers need to provide as well, too. What I'm saying is, like, that's my two things with men for sure. Protector, provider. And you failed her. I don't know what your name is, Madeline Soto's father. I don't know that man's name. But I believe Jennifer gave Madeline Soto her last name. So, anyway, I'm not really positive, but I think, I'm not sure if Soto is Jennifer Soto's married last name, or it is, it's her, I don't know if it's her father's name or her ex-husband's name. I never really confirmed that. But anyway, this live has been way too long. I really appreciate anybody who stopped in. I appreciate you stopping in. Anybody who's watching the replay, I appreciate it. I know I'm all over the place, but this is why I didn't want to make a video, because I got so much emotions. There's so much I could have said. And I might make a video, honestly. Don't mind my neighbor's dog. But I might make a video where I'm more calm and like I have my notes, looking at my notes, and more organized, more chronological order. I was just all over the place with this live, and I haven't been on live in a while. And I appreciate anyone who is subscribed to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I really appreciate your support. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. I'm gonna do better with these lives. I should have been saying subscribe many minutes ago. It's been over an hour. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. Please leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about the Madeline Soto case. How do you feel about Jennifer Soto as a mother? Do you feel like she failed her daughter? Do you feel like she protected her daughter? In what way do you feel that? What do you think about Stephen Stearns? What do you think about Madeline Soto's father? What do you think about Madeline Soto's grandfathers or her grandmother? Just leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about this story. If you haven't heard about it, like I said, go ahead and look it up and you'll be shocked and pissed off. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.